Well, folks, we have breaking news after 1 hour and I guess 29 minutes of deliberations in the case against Hannah Payne. The jury has reached a verdict. Now, Payne, remember, is charged with murder after she followed 62-year-old Kenneth Herring from the scene of an accident and shot him during a confrontation. Again, the jury, they asked to see a couple of things. They had a question probably about 30 minutes or so ago. They wanted the eyewitness video, body cam video, Payne's 911 call, the second one. And I think, let me bring back in my guests here, still with me, of course, Marcia Minot, Ted Golden. I think it played out exactly as we said, Marcia. I think there was a juror who maybe had a question, was wondering whether to convict on one or more of the charges, and the rest of the jurors said, hey, wait a minute. You know, I think we're on solid ground with a guilty verdict. Why don't we take a look at the things that I guess, in my estimation, were some of the most important evidence in the case, the eyewitness video, body cam video, and Payne's second 911 call.
I agree. I think that whenever you select your foreman, and once a juror selects their foreman, then they usually take a vote. And whatever the split vote is, the majority will start trying to convince the other jurors regarding the evidence as to why they believe that their decision is wrong. So deliberation starts again. And a lot of times they'll reach out to the court and say, hey, can I see this piece of evidence? Because this piece of evidence is what we need to convince either this one juror or these jurors that their vote right now is not correct.
Ted, 1 hour, 29 minutes of deliberations. If you're a defense attorney, now we had a story from Marcia that she had a very quick verdict, but in her favor, but generally 1 hour and 29 minutes, not a good look for Hannah Payne.
No, it's definitely not a good look because that means the evidence was clear and understandable, and they made a decision very quickly to convict because of the fact that the evidence was overwhelming.
Yeah. Well, I think we have I don't know if that was a live view or not, but my understanding is that the judge is currently on the bench. They are assembling, getting into the courtroom. Of course, you know, it takes time to get the jury together, get them into the courtroom. Judge is on the bench. That is actually a live picture in the courtroom as they prepare to bring the jury in to deliver their verdict. Tell me, Marcia, I mean, you had a case, you said only 20 minutes of deliberations. You don't have to get into too many specifics if you don't want to, but you got a not guilty verdict in just 20 minutes.
I got that not guilty verdict and I almost passed out. Right. I had not snacked. We had worked all week and I was on my way to get a snack and I was told, counsel, you have a verdict. Yeah. And I promise you, my knees were buckling because I know quick verdicts are usually prosecution verdicts. Sure. They're usually guilty verdicts. Sure. And it was a homicide and I was so concerned. But thank goodness it was in Clayton and it was 20 minutes and we got a not guilty.
Wow. You know, this is one of these cases, Ted, that you know, when actually the judge is talking now, do we want to go into the courtroom? All right, let's get into the courtroom now. The judge is addressing the court.
Yes, ma'am, we have.
Okay, and are you the foreperson?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, if you kindly stand. Was your verdict unanimous?
Yes, ma'am.
Has the verdict form been filled in, signed, and dated by you?
Yes, ma'am.
If you would have the bailiff bring the verdict form to me, please. Mr. Foreperson, if you would go ahead and read the verdict.
With regard to count 1 as to the offense of malice murder, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty. With regard to count 2 as to the offense of felony murder, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty. With regard to count 3 as to the offense of aggravated assault, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty. With regard to count 4 as the offense of felony murder, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty. With regard to count 5 as the offense of false imprisonment, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty. With regard to count 6, as to the offense of possession of firearm during commission of a felony, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty. With regard to count 7, as to the offense of possession of firearm during commission of a felony, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty. With regard to count 8, as to the offense of possession of firearm during commission of a felony, we, the jury, find the defendant guilty. Respectfully submitted, the 12th day of December, 2023.
Counsels, is there anything further required of this jury before I dismiss them?
If the court can hold the jury.
Okay. I will hold the jury. And so I'm just going to go sequentially and ask you a number of questions to which you will respond. Foreperson, was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Next person. Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Sir? Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Next. Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you? Is it still your verdict? Was that your verdict in the jury room?
Yes, ma'am.
Was it freely and voluntarily made by you?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it still your verdict?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I have polled the jurors. Ladies and gentlemen, you have now concluded your service on this jury. You're no longer subject to or bound by the instructions that I've previously given to you about not talking to anyone about this case. You're now free to talk to anyone you like about the case and the decision that your jury has reached. By the same token, you're not required to speak with anyone about this case. That is your decision. However, sometimes the attorneys like to talk with you to ascertain your views about the evidence and input from how they could improve. But again, you're not required to speak to anyone about the case. That is purely your decision. Again, thank you for your service and your commitment to your jury duty this week. You are free to go.
I'll be hanging out over here if they'd like to speak to us.
Right. You'll be outside the
Just over
courtroom?
near the steps.
Okay.
Over the elevator.
You may be seated. Ms. Payne, I'm going to remand you into the custody of the Sheriff's Department at this time. Counsels, what I do want to do at this time is set a date for the sentencing. My proposed date is December 20th.
All right, so Hannah Payne, a very emotional Hannah Payne, found guilty of all charges. There were eight counts in the indictment, malice murder, 2 felony murder charges, one with the underlying felony being aggravated assault, the other being false imprisonment. There was also 3 possession of a firearm in the commission of a felony charges, convicted on all those as well. We'll have to wait and see when they decide to have a sentencing hearing, but it's never lost on me that moment when the cuffs go on a defendant and they realize, I mean, I think that's the moment they realize their life has basically changed forever. A couple of lives really ended that day back in 2019. Let me bring in my guests again, Marsha Minot, Ted Golden. Marsha, I'll start with you. Your reaction to the verdict?
It's heart-wrenching because it is devastating for both families.
Yes.
The family who has a daughter who they may not see the light of day again, depending on how the court sentences her, and the victim's family who will never see their family member again because of the senseless death that occurred. Hopefully the moral of the story for individuals is let law enforcement do the duties of law enforcement.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And as the prosecution said, Nigel Hunter, the prosecutor, said during her closing argument, but for what happened that day, but for her chasing him, Mr. Herring would have been home with his family on the holidays. Well, the same can be said about her now. She will not be home with her family for the holidays, Ted.
You have to look at actions and think about them before you do them. Unfortunately, the trial only made it that more horrific because the family of the victim had to listen to this all over again. And had she taken, the defendant taken advantage of the justice system's offer of a plea, we would never heard all this information. And unfortunately, the end result is the same. She's still going to jail. And it's unfortunate. We see a lot more now where folks are going to trial on clearly cases where they're going to get convicted. And I'm proud of the fact that juries stand up. If you notice the emotion in the voices of the people when they ask us what their verdict, you heard no one whimpering or speaking low. They were strong, they were affirmative, and they said, yes, this is my verdict. And that's a great thing for juries these days because unfortunately, a lot of stuff gets tainted the wrong way and people feel emotional about sending a young person to jail. But when you're wrong and you commit the crime, you gotta do the time.
Yeah, and I think the hour and 29 minutes deliberations, Marsha sent a message as well. I mean, that suggested that they were confident. They even took the time to watch some of the video again, but as you said, we kind of sort of outlined what that might have been about. But the hour and 29 minutes, I think, speaks volume as well.
It does. It says that the prosecution did a fantastic job in presenting their case. And I believe the closing arguments were just as even keel as they needed to be. Sometimes you get too overpassionate, you get too loud, and you start pounding tables, you lose jurors in the process. So I felt like this prosecutor kept calm, kept professional, presented her evidence, went through the law, and told the jurors what the law required them to do, and they did.
Yeah, and I would be remiss if I didn't mention Matt Tucker, who was the defense attorney in this case, dealt a very bad hand. I thought he did a great job. He was believable. I think he believed in his client. He fought hard, but again, he was dealt a bad hand, Ted. But he made light of the fact that there were inconsistencies in some of the testimonies of the eyewitnesses, that the situation took a turn she didn't expect, and that's where he really was relying on getting a self-defense, but it just wasn't enough.
Well, you know, the difficult part about being a defense attorney in strong cases like this is you have to bring up all those things, because if you don't, then you're not representing your client in the right way. Properly, most attorneys who've been around for a while and prosecuted cases like this, many of them know what they have to. They follow the letter. And as long as they follow the letter, then there's not a chance of it being overturned because of incompetent counsel. Every once in a while, I've had this happen. You run across somebody that does something that does not make sense. It just doesn't make sense. And they don't do their client service. I unfortunately had a case once where this happened, and I'm wondering, why is she taking the witness stand? And it just didn't make any sense. She got convicted anyway. but it just didn't help her at all, and he was not doing his job properly.
Yeah. I'm not going to knock him for putting her on the stand, Hannah Payne, because I think this was the case was really strong against her, and I think she needed to take the stand in this one. Again, it was a net negative ultimately, but she needed to. Again, Hannah Payne found guilty on all charges by a Clayton County jury. We'll take a break. We'll have more on the other side. Keep it here on Court TV.